Sup shitters, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today I have got a very special review that I'm doing. I'm checking out the whole latest album, the latest release from a band called Nightbird Casino, and the track, or rather the album, is called Gregorian Nap. The 13 tracks are what we're going to go into right now. We're going to switch over to here. And we're going to start listening through each of these one by one. This is why it's a bit of a longer review, but I think it's important to listen to every single track and really hear what this album is about in its entirety. Hopefully, if you enjoy listening through this, you'll check out Gregorian Nap, and also Nightbird Casino with their efforts, both current and previous. Without further ado, let's begin with Gazelles and hear what we think. Oh. We've got some oscillations going on. Loving the sound of those. Oh, damn. Those guitars, bass, and kicks, they shine. Low-key oral vibes. And the delay is just succulent. Desiree. Damn, man, leopards and gazelles. I'm loving the panning of the vocals in the stereo field and left and right, and then having the kind of oh, we got some nice synth work going on here as well. Damn. The aggression, the intensity of that was stunning. I'm assuming that Desiree have some fucking patience as part of the hook. I like how just the sheer... there's a lot of layers going on right now with this opening track. It's a very smooth sort of first impression. I think in order to understand more about what this album is about, I'm going to need to listen to the individual tracks and obviously kind of gauge the themes reserved as a whole, but I'm loving... That's sort of that guitar theme is being repeated a few times. It's being modulated a little bit, but... And we've got some vocal samples going on here. Like a radio filter, like a high pass. There's like a light distortion to it. A lot of sustain. And the drummer is just having a phenomenal time with those fills. Really solid groove throughout the whole experience. And those kind of, those rapidly increasing oscillations there are a really engaging way. And then we just got beautiful pads. Kind of like we're in an intermission after 4 minutes of contemplation. What will come next? What is that guitar going to do next? Because we've had Gazelle, or Gazelles, and the next track is going to be Pole Line Road. Oh, I'm loving that grimy kind of industrial sort of tonality to the drums. And that bass is so thick, the tone, it's all encompassing. It surrounds you. And I love how the guitars have been panned and how they have been EQ'd and how they have been mixed. There's a lot of dynamic range at play here as well. I think it's been very professionally mastered. Just gonna turn off the camera because this is gonna be a bit of a longer session. I love how they let the musical instruments sort of do a lot of the talking for them. They don't just rely on lyrics to communicate what they do through their main sort of themes. The singer isn't trying to hog the limelight. I love the synthetic electronic elements to this. I feel like it would be a lot more empty sounding, a lot less interesting if you didn't have those various little more modern influences. You got jangly kind of indie guitar lines. Oh. I love the harmonies of the vocals as well are beautiful. That overall harmony, in fact, a minute there was just gorgeous. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. Sorry, what was that? What was that line just then? You think we're all insane? I wonder what we're talking about there. I wonder what we're discussing in this song. And the guitars have risen up again, sort of fill the space where the vocals once stood before. It does sound like the singers were calling out to the listener, such as before in Desiree, to Desiree and Gazelles. Oh, we've got some backing vocals here, like a choir kind of thing going on. And we're fading out. This is a very interesting album so far. See, I'm loving that fade out there. That's a really nice touch. It's a great way to sort of give a listener a bit of silence as they go through your selection of output. And we're back with a symmetrical electrical number 3. We've got like a whale call or something like that going on. Oh, what is that? Hey, some finger style. An acoustic electric, I believe. I'm loving I love the lower sort of vocal tones combining with like the sort of mid-range. It's a nice chordal effect on the singing parts. That sort of twin melody kind of thing. It fills a range of frequencies really nicely and makes the vocals really pop in the mix. And it matches the guitar tone, I guess, in a way, which is always also kind of... Oh. And again, we've got the lead guitar going on, guitar going on the right. And the shakers. Yeah, that's like kind of clever. I don't really think that a drum kit would have really sort of set the same sort of mood here, you know? A drum kit would have been a bit too authoritative. Having those shakers is kind of like, it's a lot more gentle. Angelic. Those... Oh. What is happening here? We got some hand drums, have we? It's a surreal kind of experience. Is that falsetto that was right then? Oh, that was wonderful. Well done on that. I feel like I'm being comforted in a blanket right now. The singers are becoming more of an instrument right now than a message board, and I can kind of dig that. When you've got all these other sort of melodic and harmonic elements in the mix, it can kind of help just to have an overall kind of lack of distinct verbalization. And to just have it as more of sort of like a colorful image. Audio-visual image. Or no, it is an audio. Hang on, let me clarify that, because that sounded really dumb. What I meant is that I guess, like, I imagine it like a painting with all the different elements being different colors and different strokes and stuff like that. That's how I kind of see a lot of music. Like how I kind of visualize. I don't know. Oh, we got the rain going in there. This really needs more love. These guys are exceptional musicians. Just the first 3 tracks so far have been thoroughly enjoyable. Sure, they won't get you dancing in a club with a smile on your face necessarily, but a lot of music doesn't need to make you happy. It can make you feel other things. I love the amount of lead lines I'm hearing from the guitarist. They are very comfortable with their ability to be able to sort of like craft those sort of those voices there. I slept through the night. I'm in love with these tunes, dude. Like, I think they're so... It's the kind of music you'd listen to, like, after a really hard day with the lights off, maybe having some neon lights set up around the place. Just, you know, like, it's your own safe space. It's phenomenal. A lot of love went into this album. That was Symmetrical Electrical, and now I've got Amuse Bouche. Bouche? Amuse Bouche? Amuse Bouche? Ah, back with the kick and snare. Alright. Got a bit of a sort of a more old school kind of classic rock and roll kind of vibe with this, indie rock kind of vibe with this. Those ping pong kind of clicks on the guitar are nice. If you're underground, you're bound to stay high. Damn, man, that wordplay there, that's deep. that kind of la-la is an interesting kind of color to this. I wonder what that's trying to communicate. I would say with certainty that a lot of this music has replay value. Like, I sit here kind of wondering things. I think you would need to listen to this album a few times to really get everything they were trying to express. I love the driving bass line, but it just seems like there's way more to this than just the kick and this and. Okay. I'm loving how these guys are working together for the most part, delivering these lines. Like, I love how like they're not having to strain their own voices. You know, despite the fact they have dynamic range, they're sort of layering themselves on themselves. Or maybe the vocalist is doing all the overdubs. I could maybe sense that I could hear like a slight change in the timbre of the different sort of vocal parts, but maybe there's just one guy doing all the different vocal overdubs. It's clever stuff to layer yourself so that you sound louder without having to actually push yourself further. That's really cool. I love the airiness, the amount of reverb in this. The atmosphere is mysterious, alluring. There's a little bit of confusion here. I think it is emblematic of the fact that it's kind of a little bit about what it feels like to be high, I guess. Stumbling through the mist. Those kind of clean guitar lines, or like a little bit of overdrive in them, caked in effects. It's just the misty forest, is what amuse bouche means. You got like some kind of really kind of. That's a very assertive lead synth that's going on there with the vibrato on it. Now, what is the name for that thing? You know what is the name for that thing where you go, it wiggles, you go wow, wow, wow. There's a name for it. I can't remember the exact name for that instrument. It annoys me. It annoys me that I can't remember the name for it. There's a specific instrument that you can play and it's played with like static electricity or something like that. It sounds like one of those ones. Lots of really interesting inputs into this album so far. Very creative approaches to these releases. I would have to say the symmetrical electrical is probably my favorite. I do dig that one, and it's not one of the ones that I'm assuming have been released to like publicly released, because you can see there's a few here that have like 3,000 listens and some of them have like 20. So that's always a good sign that one of my favorites is one of the ones that hasn't been listened to or released as a single. That's really cool. That's fantastic. Because that means that most, if not all, of the tracks are pretty well done. And this is the mains. Track number 5. Doing what? Going to those picked up arpeggios again. And some sample drums? There's a lot of sub bass going on this particular part. Nice hook. Nice transition between that verse. Two very different distinct parts. There was a lot more high energy than the verse. It's a good contrast. You kind of rose up both in a harmonic and like pitch, as well as the intensity of the instruments and the way they played. That drum kit nonetheless is very active at the moment. kind of playing a polyrhythm or something like that, right? Dope. Seemed like a ghost came out of your mouth. That was an interesting line. Fascinating approach there. This is full. Like, this song was very, very full. Like, most if not the whole way through. Like, how do I describe it? The synth work, the sub basses, the kicks, the limiting was heavy on this one in a way that it just kept rolling. You can see by the waveform how thick that is. That track is pumping, dude. That track is pumping, but you could hear everything nice and clearly. It was mixed and mastered pretty well. I was kind of zoning out a little bit just because I was enjoying it. I know that sound maybe sounds like a cop-out, but you know, even what is that vocal sample happening in the right of my headphones right now? I'm gonna go back a little bit and just listen back to that. Ghost came out of your mouth. A lot of wordplay going on here with these guys in Nightbird Casino, but I dig it. Pineapple Triangles. What an interesting title for a song. That's actually really cool. Oh, the reverb, slight delay. Octave chords, I think. Bit more sort of bit of a stronger sort of introduction here than some of the other tracks we've had, which have been a lot more sort of like gentle and sort of laid back. Fluffy sounding. Okay. You got me. Pineapple triangles. Pineapple triangle. Okay. That is awesome. I actually love this. The audacity to come up with this. Is this just fun? Is this meant to be fun? Because I can dig that. Why is this not their single? This would have sold like hotcakes, dude. I can get behind this. I love how those vocals, how the intervals, how they interplay between like the main sort of chords and bass lines. It's the chord it creates is stunning. Got some arpeggios going on here. Ooh. Is this a guitar solo for Pineapple Triangles? Oh, it's a washing effects, dude. That stereo loop is getting a workout. Oh. Back in the Pineapple Triangles. I am awake now. The caffeine has kicked in, I assume. Is this like different vocalists involved in this? Was this meant to be like a group effort with like fans or something like that? Because it didn't sound like the original vocalists. No, I don't have an issue with that. I think that's dope. But that was just a lot of fun by the sounds of it. First Crystallization. Again, very different to Pineapple Triangles. I have so many questions about this album. It's such a trip. It's such a trip. All of these songs are incredibly distinct. Kind of sounds like you're waking up from a nap and you're waking up from a nap and you've got a new day ahead of you, and you hear this music and you're like, what is going to happen next? This has been my experience with Nightbird Casino so far. I never know what's going to happen next. It is a constant adventure. It is full of surprises. Oh, that's sizzle. What is that sizzle? I have not heard that kind of sizzle in tunes I've reviewed before. And I'm digging it. Oh? All those industrial EDM kits, man. Another instrumental track? Kinda sounds to me like an interlude between Triangles and Cotopaxi or something like that. Or are those guitar parts that are being sort of put through a vocoder or a synth or something like that? Oh. That's a beautiful little solo line there. Got some nice slides in there. The drums are solid. The drums are serving as the ultimate building block. They are the OG in this mix. The VIP. Ooh, a bit of a build there. We overdubbed the guitar parts. There's a piano in there as well. My goodness, there's so much stuff in there. You like dig through it mentally. It's just like it's like being given a box of cool little surprises and picking them out one by one. This is what first crystallization is. I'm assuming this is something forming into something like a crystal, like that forming into something new from its original ingredients. And now it's finished its transformation. And here we are, we're fading out again. Man, this has been a crazy, crazy little journey we've been on so far, but I dig it. We got Cotopaxi next. Number 8. What are we in for, dudes? And dudettes? We've got some very gentle piano, steeped in a whole reverb. We've got some strings. Oh, got some synth arps. It's heavenly. It actually sounds like it could fit into like many movie soundtracks. I wish I was more knowledgeable and knew what Cotopaxi was referencing. I mean, obviously I know what gazelles are, and I can imagine what pineapple triangles are, but I don't know what Cotopaxi is. I feel incredibly ignorant. But I'm loving it. I'm loving this more sort of classical orchestral arrangement here. I wonder how they came up with this stuff, like in the studio. I wonder how they designed this. What brought them together on these different elements? Oh, some trumpets? Did they record these? What is happening here? Wow. Like, you got my attention right now. It's building into something, it's crescendoing. But into what? Because it looks like it's about to fade out. Got a flute or something like that. Oh, some pluck strings then. Is this a development? Is this the B section? We've had the A section where the first was full of wonder of hope, and this sounds like we're going further into the tides of change to try and realize something or reveal something that we could never have known before. It's very regal sounding, like it could be used in a royal procession. I'm wondering what we're gonna come up to next, honestly. This is the craziest time I've had in a while. Oh, the recordings are so pristine and pure. I love the shimmer and shine to these, whether they're recorded like through mics, and either these guys can play all of these things or they get session musicians, or, you know, even if it is sampled, like, obviously if they did every single one of these instruments, just kudos to them. They are some of the best musicians I've heard in my life. Just for that part alone, because there's so many different ingredients to this track at Cotopaxi. I think this album is basically showing what Nightbird Casino is truly sort of capable of. And they're capable of a lot. Gregorian Nap, the self-titled, number 9. Because I know Gregorian chants, I know what that is, but I don't know what a Gregorian Nap is. We've got a lone kind of, like a cello, with some kind of delayed, what is that synth sound? I know that there are like I know what an 808 is, for instance. Oh? Hey, here we go.
Sisters and I found rooms on the stairs. I put me on the shelf, but I'm alone.
It's an incredibly interesting sort of experience so far with Gregorian Nap. You have most of the sort of the actual the instruments, you know, the strings and those bump 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 kind of sort of those melodies coming in, and then you have a lot of it happening in the center stereo field, and like to maybe 50% each way, and then those vocals, those da and boom, those kind of harmonize, those twin vocals coming on either side when they've previously come this way, for that real kind of Gregorian chant kind of feel to it. I still have so many questions about that what inspired them to make this, how they came up with these ideas, how they decided to put them in this order that they did. But sometimes the beauty is in not knowing. You just get to appreciate it for the anonymous sort of entity that it is. The more she says, less I forgive her, or something like that. So, less I forgive. This honestly sounds like he's meditating on things that have occurred in the past and trying to make sense of them all. And kind of contemplating the philosophy behind the things that have happened that he does, that other people do, you know? Again, very different to Cotopaxi, very different to Crystallization, incredibly different to Pineapple Triangles, different to Gazelles. It's just it's a crazy ride we're having. And back to that original sort of theme. Maybe a little bit of development and that sort of... Oh, we've got a harmony there. We got a mixture of a string section. Are we adding a player each time? I think so. This is the fourth. We had 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. And the unity that comes now when the vocals end. Always at home. Oh, that sounds sad, man. I'm always at home when I'm on my own. Somber words. I'm always a... That was Gregorian Nap. Now we're on to the Chemicalist. Ooh. Ooh. Interesting chord progression there. Boom, boom, ba-dum, boom. A 3-chord sequence. Kind of a late 90s, early 2000s kind of indie rock kind of vibe to this, eh? Is that an organ that I'm hearing there? A shimmery organ? The guitar is just simmering. It's shimmering, I mean, not simmering, shimmering. He's playing the hell out of that, six string though. Yeah, each of these tracks has its own kind of character and personality. I don't believe this was a concept album. I see.
It's getting pretty late and I am starting to fake out here.
Oh. Those discordant strums on the right. Those soothing vocal ahs that we just listened to just then. Oh, we're resolving to a major chord. Interesting sort of choice. It's sort of an emphatic experience. It's kind of like you're getting through a really tough night and you can kind of see the end of the tunnel, you know, like you can see the sun starting to get around to your side of the world and starting to rear its face. The Chemicalist, though, that title interests me a lot. I love the interplay between the different elements of this track. Those overdubs on the electric and acoustic guitars go well together, and just that pad, that ooh, that kind of ooh, is a lovely kind of thing that brings it all together, like in a really wholesome manner. Oh, it's preposterously magnificent. Kind of again, it resolves onto that octave. Boom. Oh, it's on a third, isn't it? Birmingham, number 11. Oh, what's happening here? This is closer to Chemicalist. This still sounds like you're walking through the streets at night. This is one of those albums where maybe it is talking about nightlife. Maybe it is talking about nightlife. Maybe this is talking about the kind of experiences you have when you're drunk or you're high and you're just going through the motions and you've been through the neons. Cocaine. She got her problems out of the way. What? What's happening with Birmingham, man? That's a very playful lead line going on there. But those really kind of chilled out kind of chords on the piano. The arpeggios are very active. And the drums again, the drums are just keeping everything chill and mellow. The only exception has been pineapple triangles. Oh yay, second time, we got those vocal R's going on in the background. Honestly, it's making me sleepy because it does remind me of a lot of parties I've been to where they get this kind of vibe to it, where the stars are up and everything's beautiful. Oh, that trumpet play was insane, dude. Is this meant to be describing Birmingham or like a night out in Birmingham? Is this meant to be party time? Is it meant to be celebrating it? Is it being sarcastic? I don't know. There's a tinge of sarcasm I could hear inside the vocals, but like, maybe I'm wrong. That was Birmingham. That was track number 11. We got 2 more to go. 12 real quiet hours. This kind of describes the 5-6 a.m. But you know, between when like you've had your big party out and you kind of coming to terms with what's occurred. There's a lot of darkness involved in this sort of composition right now. Everything's kind of tense and a little bit frustrated and a little bit sort of unhappy. Oh, this is where I'm starting to really appreciate what they've got though. There's a depth to this. Their sub bass is just not screwing around. We got the shakers back. What's happening with these modulations of these singers? There's a lot of distortion, especially with the percussion. Real quiet hours. It's a very sort of sad sounding horn we've got over on the left. Is this the end? And we're fading out here. That's bagpipes. Why are there bagpipes? Is that the sound of a new day? Someone banging bagpipes in the morning being a complete pain in the butt? I can only imagine how annoying it would be living next to someone who played bagpipes in the morning. That would drive me nuts. Okay, and then finally, Vi Canis Majoris. The 608. The big boy at the end. It's been a good ride. Well, that's a very trippy kind of... That's a very kind of... There's a stereo panning going on there, I think. Pardon me.
I saw you dance, I saw you swim. I always stare.
Okay.
You shot back eyes like dragonflies. I couldn't bear to see them.
I love the determination throughout this album to continue with that dual sort of vocal sort of system. It's very distinct. I love it. I can recognize them immediately now through having listened to this album. I can recognize that this is a Nightbird Casino record. I know that other bands do the whole high-low vocal thing, but these guys use it in a way that... Ah, crap. I just knocked over something onto a wooden thing, but I think it was light enough. It's a solid object. It hasn't been scratched, but it's great that there's little kind of patterns and intricacies that I can sort of recognize as being consistent, because that's what ties an album together. Things I'll talk about this at the end. No, not right now. We're not at the conclusion stage yet. Damn, man, feeling trapped. That's no good at all. Doesn't sound particularly positive at all. Doesn't sound particularly good at all. Is there going to be further development? Is there going to be a new section? We've got a 6-minute song. What are we going to do with this time? Alright. Okay. I see. So I managed to find a girl at the end of the night after all the crazy stuff that's gone down. You've come home from the clubs. You found a woman that's kinda... She interests you. Different next time. I don't know how he gets so high with his vocal range, it's stunning. Okay, back to this hook. Boom, 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 boom. Dope. The repetition of that main message. I think this would have been one of the most accessible songs beyond Pineapple Triangles. Oh, are we building something? Nope, we're continuing the general vibe of it. We've got the guitar being a bit more active. The bass and the drums they've been well behaved this entire time. I'm just astonished with how smoothly this has gone. There has not really been a weak track at all. Again, like the fact that you can just keep grooving along to this and kind of zone out and kind of just get lost in the instrumental parts without someone needing to guide you along is just beautiful. And there's not a whole lot of change going on in the harmony. There's not a different chord progressions or anything like that. It's just super chilled out. It's like you're coming to the end of your journey, and that's basically it. This is the ultimate representation of a night out, I guess, in Birmingham. But that's where these guys are from, over in the UK. I think Birmingham's in the UK. There could also be other Birminghams. Excuse my ignorance. Yeah, stunning. Stunning, well done. Excellent. I'm just going to turn the camera on because I need to do a conclusion to this. We've got that fade out with those atmospheric kind of pads on either side of the stereo field. And there we have it. That was Gregorian Nap. Gregorian Nap by the talented, wonderful Nightbird Casino. Gregorian Nap. It's been a very long time since I reviewed a 13-track album like in full like this. Usually I sort of stick to doing my sort of 6 tracks at the most at a time. I used to look at entire albums and I took a break from that just because honestly I felt like I was picking safe options. You know, just because when you sit down to review an album in full, there's a risk you're going to pick something that you won't know, and then it's like, oh crap, I don't like the first track. I don't want to have to listen to the rest of the dozen. But I think that Nightbird Casino have produced one of the most interesting and there's just so much variety in this track. I love how every single piece in here has its own distinct personality, its own sort of nature, its own vibe, its own set of different ingredients. I love how they messed around with different drum kits. I love how they messed around with all these different guitar tones. They had sort of acoustic finger picking parts. And I love how they went from such kind of crazy stuff in Pineapple Triangle, so straightforward, yet just so insane. It's such an insane song, to the almost like ethereal, symmetrical, electrical, you know, to Gregorian Nap where they played around with those vocal styles and the talking about it just the different tonalities are kind of, they're just so engaging. There's just so much variety, and the fact that they managed to pull everything off to a level where I felt like I was enjoying every moment of it is just basically indicative that these guys are phenomenal musicians. Nightbird Casino, this is my first time listening to Nightbird Casino. I don't have any skin in the game. I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed, and this is actually encourages me to listen to more albums like this in full, because usually I just do the first sort of 6 tracks, but I think in this situation with Gregorian Nap, you need to listen to the whole thing from start to finish. You need to listen to the whole thing from start to finish to really understand and get the vibe for this, and it kind of came together for me at the end with tracks like Birmingham, Real Quiet Hours, The Chemicalist, that really, these first, like I think Gazelle was just talking about all the people at the club that they were meeting, you know? And Poleline Road and Symmetrical Electrical, Amuse Bouche and the Mains and Multiple Triangles, it was just slowly getting into the night and really getting excited for it. Like Pole Line Road, I think it's just the neon lights and the social scene and the music and the enjoyment and all the craziness going on. And then Crystallization, I think, was just the epitome of the performance, like the peak of it. And then Gregorian Nap was kind of coming back down to earth and kind of coming to terms with what was real. But then via Canis Majoris, you've gone home with someone that you met, and you're pretty stoked with how things have gone. You got the long walk home from, and I could be completely wrong. That's the thing. This is my interpretation of it. I could be full of crap. But as a music reviewer, I think music is subjective, and you can kind of, if I am completely wrong, at least I hope I'm correct about the stuff I've said about the performance, about the different sort of the dynamics. I speaking of dynamics, right? They played around with them. There were a lot of parts where it was very, very close to distorting in terms of the actual the mastering of it. I could tell they were riding that line really close to it, getting some digital distortion in there, and they managed to just scrape by it. And I think that's really clever. There was pulsating synths. The vocal parts in Gregorian Nap were very intense to the point where I think that like it was very loud, but like not in a way that was distracting from the actual music itself. Like it didn't seem out of place. It was just kind of like, oh, I've really got to pay attention to you right now. And despite these kind of builds, the overall experience I've had with Gregorian Nap is that it was a very gentle experience. There was no point where I felt I was being yelled at, where it was aggressive, it was trying to shove something down your throat. It was like you were a bystander listening to someone else's journey. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. There's so much music out there that really just wants to get in your head and get in your face and tell you what to think and what to feel. And Gregorian Nap is just an experience, like they just want you to be a part of it. You know, you can yell, you can listen to gazelles and look at the different animals, symmetrical, electrical, just get lost in the euphoria of being in that sort of nightlife and you know, crystallization, become a bigger version of yourself, and in real quiet hours, you know, everyone who's like in there, like everyone who's ever gone out for the night knows what it's like to come back home at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and you're wasted, and you might be shattered, you might have hurt yourself, but you might even be going home alone. But it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, especially in the night sky. If you can see the stars up there, it's beautiful. And I have a lot of love for Gregorian Nap. I think that it's a stroke of genius that they clarified things in the last song as like a reward for people who had listened through the whole thing. It's just wonderful. I have a lot of respect for Nightbird Casino. This is by far one of the best albums I have listened to this year. And I am so thankful that I get the opportunity to actually sit down and listen to albums like this. I'm lucky that I hear about them, that they exist. I'm so glad that Gregorian Nap exists. And it was a very analog, organic performance as well. Like, I just loved the creativity involved. The expression, the passion, the artistic intent, it's all there. These guys are phenomenal, and I actually think they can stand on their laurels and just sit on this release for a bit and enjoy themselves and give them a good pat on the back, because they thoroughly deserve it. They've done incredibly well with this. I have nothing but love for Nightbird Casino. I wish them the best of luck in future. Fantastic. I thank you. If you're watching this review, thank you for sticking through it till the end. I really appreciate it. I know it's been a long one, but I wanted to listen through each of these tracks in their entirety and give them the time and they deserved. Please do check out Nightbird Casino on their SoundCloud. They're fantastic, and if you've listened to this album in full, you'll agree. Please do find them on the SoundCloud. I'm assuming they may also have a Spotify release or other social medias. And yeah, stay cool, stay safe. Please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on. I'll catch you next review. Spider Hands out.